What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the world according to Briggs. Have you ever wondered if there's more to the United States than the 50 states we have in Washington, D.C.? Wonder no longer. There is. They're called territories. The U.S. has 14 territories. Well, they got 5 legit good-sized territories, and the other 9 they call minor outlying islands. Each has some very interesting history. Sadly, here in the United States, we don't learn much about our own territories. They briefly go over it in American history. I put up on Facebook a couple weeks ago, before I thought about doing the video, and I asked my friends, without Googling it, how many territories does the US have? Most said 2 or 3, and then they'd name one that probably isn't. Actually, one person I used to work with, she thought New Mexico was a territory. I explained to her that it's actually a state. Her response was, oh yeah, that's right, Mexico is a territory, right? And I said, no, Mexico is its own country. But I don't know. I guess that's the type of smarts you get from a 21-year-old girl that had to borrow $200 from you to pay rent because her car needed detailing and she needed to pay her tan membership, and she couldn't believe all those things fell on the same day. She also couldn't understand why her nail lady wasn't considered an essential worker at the beginning of the pandemic. Yeah, she's entertaining. All right, moving on. Today we're going to learn about U.S. territories. All right, let's see what we got. Number 1, Guam. Guam is the westernmost point and territory of the United States in Oceania. It's got a population of almost 170,000. Guam has a tropical rainforest climate, which is always perfect for tourism. Most people dream about spending some time on a tropical island. Guam is very much a tropical island. As a matter of fact, tourism pretty much pays all of Guam's bills. Well, that and the U.S. military. They have some decent bases there. The first European to travel to Guam was Portuguese, and it was the navigator Ferdinand Magellan. He was sailing for the King of Spain. When he sighted the island on March 6, 1521, during his fleet's circumnavigation of the globe, he thought he'd stop by and check it out. Magellan encountered the indigenous people of Guam known as Chamorro, and almost 150 years later, the Spanish colonization commenced on June 15, 1668. Around 1823, whalers started using it as a place to get supplies and, sort of a rest stop. But after a few centuries as part of Spain, the United States occupied the island following Spain's defeat in the 1898 Spanish-American War. As part of the Treaty of 1898, Guam was transferred to the United States Navy's control on December 23, 1898 by executive order from President William McKinley. Most people don't realize that Japan attacked Guam about the same time they attacked Pearl Harbor. They won the battle and occupied the island for almost 2.5 years, and then the United States showed back up. As you can imagine, we weren't in a good mood. The Navy, the Marines, and an Army division showed up, and it took them about a month to round up all the invading Japanese. These days, if you visit Guam, you'll find that it is a combination of traditional Chamorro customs along with American, Spanish, and Mexican traditions. Guam is a great place to visit. If you ever get a chance, go to Guam. The people are very friendly. Every time I've ever talked to a person from Guam, and that used to be on the regular basis when I worked at Netflix because they're American territory, so we gave them DVDs and everything else like that, just like any U.S. state. But if you ever get a chance to go, it's great for Americans because there's no money difference. It's the same U.S. dollar, and you don't need a passport. Even if you do need one, it's just a beautiful island that you should visit if you ever get the opportunity. Number 2, American Samoa. The territory of American Samoa is located in the South Pacific, southeast of Samoa. There are 2. There's Samoa and there's American Samoa. American Samoa consists of 5 main islands and 2 coral atolls. This territory has a long history going way back, but as far as Europeans go, the Dutch showed up around 1722, followed by a couple French explorers in 1768 and then again in 1789. The French explorer in 1789 got in a little dust up with the locals in what is still called Massacre Bay. And they call it this because his second in command and some of the crew were killed during that dust-up. American Samoa has its own immigration law. That's really weird. It's kind of separate from the laws that apply to any other parts of the United States. No other territory does this. While the U.S. national can freely move to American Samoa, the American Samoan government, via its immigration office, controls the migration of aliens to the island. Special applications and forms and all that stuff got to be filled out based on your family or employment sponsorship. Now, as far as employment goes, they don't have a ton, but tuna canning is the backbone of American Samoa's economy. I thought this one was really interesting. American Samoa is noted for having the highest rate of military enlistment of any U.S. state or territory. This is a beautiful island. Ask any of its 46,000 residents. They'll tell you the same thing. It is beautiful. If you look at the video and if you look at the pictures, it looks like something that they could film a tropical romance movie on. It's just great. Number 3, Northern Mariana Islands. North of Guam, you have the Northern Mariana Islands. These were the first islands settled by humans in this remote Oceania area. Ferdinand Magellan had a big year in 1521. He and his crew were the first Europeans to arrive at the Mariana Islands. He had landed in Guam and claimed the whole area for Spain. Spanish ships were met offshore by locals who delivered refreshments and then helped themselves to a small boat belonging to the Magellan crew. This, of course, as you can imagine, kind of became a problem. It was really a culture clash. In local tradition, little property was private, and taking something someone needed, such as a boat for fishing, didn't count as stealing. Well, the Europeans didn't feel that way, so it became a problem. The Northern Mariana Islands played a few important roles in World War II. The Battle of Saipan happened here. Saipan's the biggest island in the chain, and a year later, the island of Tinian, which is just north of there, that was the takeoff point for the Enola Gay. If you don't know, that's the plane that dropped the bomb on Hiroshima. Historically, the island's economy was tourism, mostly from Japan, and in the garment manufacturing sector. The economy has declined since 2005, eventually leading to all the garment factories on Saipan to close by 2009. Tourism also went on a steep decline in 2005 when Japan Airlines stopped serving the Marianas. So if you go visit, they'll be very excited to see, I bet. I work with a girl from Saipan. She told me all about it. She was at Nike with me, and she said that these days most of the young people can't wait to leave the island because you can get a job sometimes, but it's not paying you hardly anything, she said. Now that I think about it, the building I worked at there's a few people from Tinian and a bunch from Saipan. Their population peaked in 2010 with 69,000 residents, but right now it's down to 51,000. Number 4, the United States Virgin Islands. Technically, they're called the Virgin Islands of the United States, but everyone knows them as the United States Virgin Islands. This territory consists of 3 main islands, St. Croix, St. John, and St. Thomas. They also have 50 other surrounding minor islands and cays. So the 3 main islands are pretty much the only places anyone ever really visits. Most of those small 50 islands are just inhabited by birds and turtles, I imagine. Christopher Columbus, on his second voyage in 1493, is thought to have been the first European to see these islands, giving them their current name, and him and his crew being the first tourists to ever visit the islands. These days, they still got ships going there, but they're cruise ships and they're filled with people from Iowa that are wearing fanny packs. This is a major cruise stop though. This and the British Virgin Islands, cruise lines go to both of them. Like Norwegian Cruise Line has a really great cruise I've been looking at to go there. Hopefully I'll be there next year. The U.S. Virgin Islands' main source of income is the 3 million annual visitors. Tourism is responsible for 60% of the island's GDP. The population of this territory peaked in 2000 with 108,000 residents. Then in 2010, it went down to 106,000, and right now, a little above 105,000 residents. One thing that caught me off guard about this one is they only have like National Guard forces of the locals and some reserve units, but no like naval base or anything. Seems to me like a perfect location for one, but no, nothing major. Number 5, Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is probably the next one on deck for U.S. statehood. Maybe they'll give it to Washington, D.C. eventually, but I think Puerto Rico will be the next one. Its official name is the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, and it was first colonized by Spain, and that's who gave it the name Puerto Rico, which is Spanish for rich port. Puerto Ricans have been U.S. citizens since 1917, and they can move freely between the island and the mainland. No paperwork, no nothing. They just go. Just like going from Utah to Nevada. Now, how do we get Puerto Rico? Well, it was the same way we got Guam and a bunch of other places. On July 25th, 1898, during the Spanish-American War, the U.S. invaded Puerto Rico. After the U.S. prevailed in the war, Spain had to give up Puerto Rico along with the Philippines and Guam under the Treaty of Paris, which went into effect on 11 April 1899. Puerto Rico has some financial problems for the local government right now, and their economy isn't the best. They have manufacturing jobs, finance, insurance, and real estate. A lot of people work for the government, environment, but also tourism plays a big role in the economy of Puerto Rico. As you can imagine, tropical islands seem to do that. Puerto Rico has seen a drop in population in the last two census. In 2000, they peaked at 3,808,000 residents. Then in 2010, they went down to 3,725,000. And then this last census in 2020, they went down to 3,285,000 residents. That's the first time since they've been involved in the census that they've lost population the last two census. The United States minor outlying islands. Number 6, Wake Island. Wake Island is about the midway point between Guam and Hawaii, right in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. During World War II, this was a scene of a serious battle. Basically, the defenders of Wake Island were going to be overrun, and the island was going to be captured by the Japanese. And it was so bad that the Marines were teaching construction workers who were there to build better runways and stuff like that how to use weapons because they were going to be fighting, and they did. Eventually, the Japanese took the island, forced all the people captured to help build bunkers, things like that, and then in the end, they shot them all. The U.S. military kept a presence on Wake Island until 2017. Right now, nobody lives there. Number 7, Johnston Atoll. For nearly 70 years, this isolated atoll was under the control of the U.S. military. During that time, it was used as a naval refueling depot, an air base, a testing site for nuclear and biological weapons, a secret missile base, and a site that stored the disposed chemical Agent Orange. Those activities left this place basically contaminated and nobody goes there. We just monitor it. Number 8, Midway Island. Midway is called Midway because it is supposed to be the midway point between Hawaii and Japan. It's not. It's only like a third of the way to Japan. But you get the idea. There was also a giant battle here during World War II. The Japanese wanted the island because they figured they could start attacking the mainland and Hawaii and eventually take over Hawaii, but we had this big battle there. And it didn't go well for the Japanese because of some mistakes. They probably should have won, but they made some mistakes and some bad judgment, and yeah, they didn't win that battle. In the late 1970s, the Navy downgraded Midway from a naval air station to a naval air facility, and a large number of the personnel and dependents began leaving the island. With the Vietnam War ending and just different things like satellites coming into play, they really didn't need this outpost in the middle of the ocean anymore. In 1988, Midway became a national wildlife refuge. It also serves another interesting purpose. They have an airstrip on there from World War II that is maintained as an emergency landing spot for trans-Pacific airliners. So if they're leaving Hawaii, going to Japan or something like that, and they're having problems, can't make it back, they try and go for Midway. Number 9, Kingman Reef. Kingman Reef is south of Hawaii, and there's nothing here. This is just a reef. It's got a little patch of land that you probably even couldn't set up a house on. There's nothing here. But we own it. It's a territory. Number 10, Palmyra Atoll. South of Kingman Reef, you have this small atoll, which is actually kind of a cute place. It looks really nice. You wouldn't be able to live here. I don't think they have any fresh water, but if you bring your own water, a lot of people do, and they go snorkeling here. That's about all you do here. Number 11, Jarvis Island. Yeah, there's nothing here but birds. No trees, no nothing. At one point in the 1930s, we did this thing called the American Equatorial Island Colonization Project, where we left some settlers there for a while every year. They'd pull a shift for like 6 months or a year, and then we'd bring new ones there, and we had to maintain a presence on the island or we'd lose it. It was just some weird thing, but there hasn't been anyone there in decades, and there's nothing to see there. Number 12, Baker Island. Just like Jarvis Island, there's nothing here, and we did the same thing. We put some settlers there for 6 months at a time back in the 1930s, and I think they launched a couple flights during World War II from there to bomb different little islands the Japanese had occupied. But really, there hasn't been anyone there in decades also. Right now, their population is 0. Unless you count birds, then it's probably a couple thousand. Number 13, Howland Island. Not too far from Baker Island is Howland Island. This one is another little nothing place out in the middle of nowhere. No trees, no nothing, no fresh water, no reason to go here. Only one person ever tried to find this place and couldn't, and that was Amelia Earhart. She was supposed to meet a U.S. Navy ship on the island to be refueled and resupplied and then continue on with her trip. They think they heard her on the radio a couple times, but they couldn't really help her. They just heard her briefly, and that was about it. Never to be seen again. Number 14, Navassa Island. Navassa Island is a little bit interesting. There's no one there, nothing goes on there, just mostly birds. It's totally uninhabited. I don't think they've ever really had anyone living there. But We claim we own it, it's a US territory. Well, Haiti claims they own it. This has been an ongoing dispute. I mean, we haven't gone to war with them over it, but they claim it and we claim it, so who knows? All right, everyone, those are your 14 US territories. I hope you found this interesting. I want to thank all the people that have been asking for this video for a long time. I kind of wanted to just knock this one out, and if there's enough interest, I want to do a bigger one on the 5 main territories. They've got a lot of great history that I just barely touched on this. So we'll see. If you guys give it enough thumbs up, we get enough views, I'll definitely knock that one out. All right, everyone, have a great day. Be nice to each other.